few showers and storms out there. Most of them are along the coast or offshore. I'm not seeing any that would really affect commuters too much. We are seeing a couple of those in Plaquemines and St. Bernard parishes. Grand Isle looks like there's a little shower just north of you, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Current conditions show today with clear skies, maybe a few clouds on the south shore, but overall, again, looking like a very similar day. I think one difference will be that you may notice a little more rain. Remember, yesterday we had those northeasterly winds wrapping around Tropical Storm Fred to our east. Well, now Fred has moved north and we've got westerly winds returning. I expect that we will see a few storms out there today. That may keep temperatures in the low 90s as opposed to the mid 90s where we were yesterday. But it's going to be a hot day either way. Again, a spotty storm out there might help cool you down, but not everybody's going to see those. Temperatures will fall back off into the 80s tonight, and we'll be back to the mid 90s for tomorrow, Thursday, and it looks like Friday as well. But notice that climb. Temperatures getting into the upper 90s to near 100 by the weekend and into early next week. Yeah, it's going to get really hot out there. Summer is not done yet. Rain chances, of course, as we head toward the end of the week and the weekend, dropping off for us. So today I have us at 50%. That doesn't mean it's going to rain half the day. It means about half the area will see rain at some point. Tomorrow, pretty similar. And then I think those storms are a little spottier on Thursday as that high pressure starts to build. Once it's fully here, it's going to be hot, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be dry. Let's take a look at that high pressure system and what it's doing for us, because we can complain about the heat. Maybe your garden complains a little bit about the lack of rain come this weekend, but this high pressure system is keeping away Tropical Storm Grace, which is expected to move across the Yucatan into the western Gulf, where it's likely to gain strength and then ultimately move into Mexico. But again, that high pressure system will be moving over us, which is why we'll be dealing with a heat wave as all of that happens. Looking at the tropics, I'll start off with Grace's track here, which shows you that while right now it's kind of moving off of Haiti, those poor folks there in Haiti have really been through a lot over the last year and really just the last few weeks with they had Tropical Storm Fred or Depression Fred by the time it was there. And then they had the earthquake, and now they've got the Tropical Storm Grace. But again, that's moving away now, and that's going to start moving toward the Yucatan. It may gain strength before it gets there. It's likely to get disrupted again over the Yucatan, and then I expect it could become a hurricane over the western Gulf, depending how weakened it is by the Yucatan. But the main point here is it's coming nowhere near us because of that high pressure we talked about. A couple of other things. Fred is now a tropical depression. It's inland. It's going to be bringing rain across Georgia, the Carolinas, and farther north throughout the day today. Tropical Storm Henri is out there. That was Tropical Depression 8 yesterday morning, but got upgraded and continued to gain strength overnight. That's going to stay out by Bermuda, so that one's not going to be our problem either. We just talked about Grace, how it's going to be moving to our south. It will make it into the Gulf of Mexico. It may even gain strength over those hot western Gulf waters, but it will not be our problem. Quick reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast. You can also download our Fox 8 weather app, which is a great way to get those tropical tracks on Fred, Grace, Henri, just a list of names that we have dodged this year.
Yeah, we like when you say, Shelby, they won't be our problem.
Exactly.
Those are the perfect words to hear.
I like saying that too.
Not our problem.
It's my favorite phrase this time of year,
Yeah.
I must say. Christy, not too active. Boy, when you do get a thunderstorm, though, even this hour of the morning, it can really flare up around north of Triumph.
Yeah, you know what I noticed when I was showing that Riverwalk camera in the Tees just a few minutes ago, John, we saw a little flash of lightning, and that's going to be that storm just off of St. Bernard and Plaquemines parishes there to the east. Now, we are seeing a couple of showers right now just south of Jefferson Parish, kind of moving toward the Grand Isle area. Barataria Bay and Terrebonne Bay both have a shower or two in them as well. But overall, no problems for commuters rain-wise. Looks like it's going to be a pretty dry start. I do expect we'll see some rain later on this morning. Clear skies in Bogalusa, Slidell, and Gulfport. Temperatures coming in the low to mid 70s. Temperatures right around 80 at the airport in Kenner, which is right about where we started yesterday. As far as the mugginess is concerned, it's still muggy out there. Dew points are in the low to mid 70s, and I expect that it will be Fairly muggy today as temperatures climb into the low 90s. Now, storms are possible today, I think even more likely than they were yesterday, but we will start off with that sunshine. Once those storms start popping up, our temperatures will probably fall a little bit, so I expect highs will top out in the low 90s, likely around lunchtime or in the early afternoon, and then kind of fall off through the later parts of the afternoon with a few more storms around. Temperatures actually increase as rain chances go down to near zero for Friday and the weekend. Look at this. Temperatures getting into the upper 90s. It's going to feel really hot out there. It's going to be a nice sweltering reminder that summer is not done with us yet. We'll see dry skies for Friday and the weekend, though, and likely into early next week as well. Rain chances today around 40 to 50%. I think tomorrow we take that down a notch. And Thursday, as high pressure starts to build in, we'll just see a few spotty storms remaining. Speaking of that high pressure is doing something else for us, though. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. We're not going to complain about the heat because Tropical Storm Grace is going to be making its way to our south. And without this high pressure system, Grace could have curved north and been more problematic, certainly if it was able to get into the central or western Gulf where we have some really hot water. That said, this blocking high is going to help us out with Grace, and then it's going to turn into a big old heat wave for us over the weekend and into early next week. Let's talk tropics a little bit. Since we were just talking about Grace, I want to show you that track. Again, Grace is right now just moving off of Haiti. It may gain some strength, possibly getting near hurricane status before crossing the Yucatan, which is likely to weaken it. So it comes across the Yucatan, ends up in the western Gulf as a tropical storm. May make a run at hurricane status again, moving through those warm western Gulf waters before again moving into Mexico. Not going to be a problem for the northern Gulf Coast. Speaking of those hot waters, look at the central and western Gulf. Again, if that high pressure was not there and this storm was able to curve north, it would have been more problematic. It would have had more time to strengthen. And that would be certainly one for us to watch. But with that high pressure system in place this weekend, I just don't see it being an issue. So what else is out there? Well, Fred made landfall yesterday in the Florida Panhandle. It moved north pretty quickly, kind of clearing out those beaches pretty quick. Still some rain is falling in the Big Bend area as a result of that system, but most of the rain and wind is now across Georgia and the Carolinas. Tropical Storm Henri is out there by Bermuda, but not going to be a problem for us. Quick reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime, or you can download our Fox 8 weather app. Both are great ways to get the forecast on the go. John, Meg?
So it's a three-step process this weekend for the heat. Drink water, apply sunscreen, and tell yourself we did not get a hurricane.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Stay inside in the AC.
Stay inside.
Or find a pool.
That's right. Find a friend
go.
with a pool. There you go.
A friend with a pool, Christy.
That's right. All that those folks have been through. Live radar is showing that we don't have much going on around here. We're seeing just a couple of showers along the coastal areas. Zooming in on that, you can see this little shower there in southern Lafourche, and then another little shower just east of the river there off of Plaquemines Parish, kind of south of St. Bernard Parish. Current conditions show temperatures are in the 70s. We're still waiting on that homicide to come in, but we do have clear skies across most of the area, and most spots are starting off within a degree or two of where we started off yesterday. So it's feeling kind of mild, kind of muggy. Typical August start to the morning with those dew points in the low to mid 70s. Your planner for today shows temperatures will climb into the low 90s. At times there will be some scattered storm activity. I expect that could start as early as late morning and then possibly go through the afternoon hours. But the deeper we get into the afternoon, the hotter we get, the more chance there will be for those storms to flare up. So what I expect will happen is that high temperatures will quickly climb toward that 90-degree mark, possibly holding those low 90s through the lunch hour and into the early afternoon. And then we'll see those storms start popping up and the temperatures will start to fall. We'll fall into those 80s for the evening and overnight hours. Temperatures will be back in the mid 90s tomorrow and Thursday. Looks like mid to upper 90s Friday, and then upper 90s to near 100 as we head into the weekend and early next week. And I know you're going, whoa, that's really hot. Average highs are in the low 90s, so we'll be well above average by this weekend. But keep in mind that high pressure is helping keep those tropical systems away. It's also going to keep the rain away, so we'll have some scattered storm activity today through Thursday. By the time we get to Friday, that high pressure is going to be strong enough. Remember, that high pressure kind of pushes down on the atmosphere, and that allows storms to kind of stay suppressed. So you're not going to see as many flare-ups, and it looks like we'll stay mostly dry through the weekend. But speaking of that high pressure and how it's helping us tropics-wise, There's Tropical Storm Grace. John and Meg just talking about that and the devastation it's causing on top of the earthquake and on top of the situation with Fred earlier in the week. That is now moving away, and this high pressure is steering it. As that blocking high moves over the northern Gulf Coast, we're going to get hot, we're going to be dry, but we're not going to have a storm heading our way. And you can see that storm goes right into Mexico as the high pressure continues to build, bringing a lot of heat our way. So looking at the National Hurricane Center's forecast track, it's right on with that high pressure building over the northern Gulf Coast for Friday and into this weekend, which continues to steer Grace right toward Mexico. A couple of things I'll point out. This is going to be making a run at Category 1 hurricane status before it reaches the Yucatan. It will likely get weakened and then make another run at hurricane status before impacting Mexico once again. The reason I say that is because you've got some pretty hot waters. When you see those dark reds and those purples, that's where it's hot enough to even start seeing some of that rapid intensification. Those words we heard so much last year, which is just where a storm ramps up pretty quickly. So again, I would not be surprised, depending on what it looks like when it comes off the Yucatan, I would not be surprised if Grace is able to make a run at hurricane status again before reaching Mexico there in the western Gulf. So here are the three things that we're watching. Fred is inland, moving through Georgia today, producing some rain there and across the Carolinas. Tropical Storm Grace is moving off of Haiti. We just talked about how that one's going to continue moving west. Tropical Storm Henri is going to be moving around Bermuda, but it's not going to be a problem for us. So just to quickly remind you that you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast, or download our Fox 8 weather app. It's great for getting the local forecast, and it's also great if you click that radar tab right here. That'll take you to the section where you can track the tropics, and so you can actually see all those tropical tracks that we just talked about.
Well, and hopefully we don't ever have to see one coming this way.
Exactly. You can look at how they're all going somewhere else.
Exactly. We like that. Thank you,
nice
Shelby.
if it worked out.
We're looking at outside right now. What a beautiful view over that muddy water this morning. We are looking at lots of sunshine expected to start off the day. There are a few showers out there, and if you see some of those storms kind of billowing in the distance, those are going to be offshore. Right now, right near Grand Isle, we've got a little shower, another little one over Terrebonne Bay, and we had a storm forming just off of Plaquemines Parish to the east this morning, but that has since fizzled. So we are looking at current conditions showing mostly dry skies, temperatures in the 70s out there, and calm winds for the most part. Your muggy meter shows dew points are in the 70s this morning. And speaking of muggy, our mugshot winner of the day, look at that, he shares my last name, that we're some sort of distantly related cousin, but again, has nothing to do with Kylie being our winner today. Fox8live.com/mugshot is where you can go to submit your picture to possibly be one of our lucky winners. Temperatures will be topping out in the low 90s this afternoon. I expect that we'll see some scattered showers and storms out there, but then we'll see those storms kind of fizzling into the evening hours as temperatures fall back into the 80s. So not going to be a fall-like day by any means, but it could certainly be worse, and it will be worse as we head to the weekend. Looking at those temperatures getting into the mid to upper 90s, that's going to feel really hot. It's kind of like summer's revenge here. We're going to see your rain chances dropping to near zero, so no rain to help cool us off for the weekend. But the trade-off is that hot high pressure is keeping tropical systems away from us. Right now, this blocking high off the east coast is steering Tropical Storm Grace, much like it did Tropical Storm Fred, which is now a depression and inland, but it's going to steer Tropical Storm Grace, and as it moves west, rather than that high staying put, it's going to move over us to really help us out and keep Grace going west instead of curving north like Fred did. And that's good news, because once Grace gets into those western Gulf waters, it could really ramp up. It'll probably make another run at hurricane status before reaching Mexico. But let's take a look at the tropics a little more closely, because there are a few things that we're watching out there. What we're seeing right now is that track for Grace, again, making a run at hurricane status before it reaches the Yucatan, then probably weakening on the backside of the Yucatan Peninsula. As it moves into the western Gulf, I expect that it will make another run at hurricane status before reaching Mexico. But notice how far south it stays. Again, that is all courtesy of that hot high pressure that is going to make it really uncomfortable out there this weekend. All right, where are the water temperatures really hot right now? The western and central Gulf. So you can imagine if that high pressure only came over a little bit and didn't really build over the Gulf states like we expect them to, or expect that high to, If it didn't, then that storm could have curved north, and that would have been a big problem moving over those really hot waters. That'll be something to watch for with future storms, none of which have developed yet. So what are the three things that we're watching out there in the tropics? Tropical depression Fred has moved inland. It is continuing across Georgia and the Carolinas, where it will bring rain today and possibly some gusty winds. Tropical storm Grace is the one we were just talking about. That's going to move across the Caribbean and then into Mexico. Tropical storm Henri is going to be making its way around Bermuda, but I'm happy to report that the F, the G, and the H storms are all not going to be our problem this year. Quick reminder, you can call the Delta World Tire weather phone anytime for a check on the forecast. And if you want to look a little more closely at the tracks of each of those tropical systems, you can download our Fox 8 weather app and you can click that radar tab. That's where you'll be able to see the tracks of any storms that develop this year.
I like that. Just check off a name, you know, in the alphabet.
Yep, just scratching the names off the list. Not our problem, not our problem, not our problem.
We like that for sure. All right, thanks, Shelby. Let's check in with